I started farming in 2005, and this is my great-grandfather's farm. He homesteaded it in 1905 or 6, so quite a while. I'm mainly a cow-calf operation, and I raise a few crops and raise a lot of hay. And I background my calves, and I run some of those calves on grass as stockers the next summer too. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think this is my second year doing cover crops. I'm just looking to extend my grazing season and get more money out of the land I already own, and I can raise an annual around the farm here and then graze the cover crop after that. So basically, graze the regular perennials all summer and then try to extend the grazing season. This year in the growing season of 2020, I did about 130 acres of cover crops. Some followed oats, some followed corn, and some was on some stuff that I just broke up. I use, a large part of it is oats. I use turnips, and I use a radish called a torpedo radish, and I had really good luck with that this year. This was my first year doing the torpedo radishes, and I really like them. The Lake Brunson elevator. Oats, it's kind of hard to say because I just use a 2-point spinner, but oats I think I'm right around 40 to 50 pounds per acre, and the radishes and turnips I'm probably under 10 pounds an acre, probably 4 pounds a piece, something like that. As soon as possible. This year in 2020 it was a little challenging because obviously the rain happened, and so I was late doing some of my spraying. And then like on my green oats, on the oats that I grow, I take the hay off of it and then I try to work it a couple times. So, by the time you haul the hay and chisel plow it twice and then get out there and spread the seed, I think this year I was somewhere towards like the 2nd or 3rd week in August. And I think that I should try to be doing it closer to the 4th of July to really get those turnips to go deeper and, try to do a little more for the ground. Well, like I said, I have to get my spraying done first on, be it corn or oats or whatever I'm growing. And so I have to get that done and, time it between rains, or depending on how wet or saturated the ground is. Every year is different, so earlier the better though, I think. It's working good. The one trouble I had this year is that on my green oats, they got out there earlier than they should have. So obviously that's something I need to work on, is keeping them out of there until the end of the grazing season with our regular perennials. And then my cover crops on my corn was fine. We chopped that like in the 2nd or 3rd week of September, and then we basically just turned the cows out right after we cut the corn. So obviously anything planted later in the year that is full of sugar is going to be beneficial for the cattle. They seem to stay in really good condition when they were out there and went into the winter with a little extra flesh, so I was happy with it. Well, I noticed that this year, from my 2019 cover crops, I noticed where I head them and grazed them, that was the first piece that I could get into this spring of 2020. It seemed like the ground was a lot more mellow, and it seemed like it was drier from the cattle being out there grazing last fall. For me, I tried single strand fences to keep them out of there as late as I could into the fall, and I had some challenges with that. So going forward, I want to put at least one more strand up to keep them out of there basically as late as I can, until the growing season is completely over, freeze up or whatever. So that's moving forward next summer. That's what I'm going to be working on. like I said, I think earlier the better for seeding date, and then keeping the cattle out of there as long as you can to make sure that those deep-rooted plants like the radishes or the turnips or whatever you want, so so those taproots can go deep and actually do a little bit of work in your soil. Keep them growing as long as you can. It was going into it, I knew nothing about it, so I read off of NDSU a lot on their website, or any of their doctors that do work with cover crops or grazing specialists or stuff like that. Other than that, just talking to friends and neighbors and relying on the Lake Brunson elevator for what they can get and what they would recommend as well. Well, your office is really good and helpful, of course, and there is a doctor from NDSU. I think her name is Miranda Meehan. I follow her on Twitter, and I think she's one of the grazing specialists. And then Dr. Abby Wick, she works for NDSU as well. She's a cover crop specialist. She's not too much in the grazing end of it, but she does a lot of cafe talks and tours in the winter time. And so I keep up with what she does and what her farmers recommend and what they found. So just try to network the best on the internet. Yeah, it's fun to watch it grow. That's always fun to watch a plant grow and watch the cattle eat it, and save a little bit at the beginning of the fall or beginning of the winter on feed. So that's always fun.